I hate it. I just want to get through this interview and never hear about these people again. The scheduling and the punctuality for this company was a big question mark. The nail in the coffin, let's say, was where... Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Cornelia and I usually post videos about topics that interest me. And lately they are about the corporate environment and how to get a job, what to say, not to say in job interviews, how to respond to different interview questions and so on. And in today's video, I wanted to share 3 cringe experiences that I had in interview settings as a candidate. I'm not quite sure why I'm doing this. It's just like a story time. I don't know if you can learn something from it. All of my experiences were when I was in my 2nd and 3rd year of university. So yeah, I was quite junior. I didn't have that many experiences in job settings or how to interview and so on. I just wanted to find a job because I was an entry-level candidate and I just wanted to get my first gig, make some money and gain some experience because, of course, not everyone wants to hire a junior or an entry-level candidate. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. The first story where I applied for an internship for HR recruitment. I went, first of all, to the interview with the HR lady. She was very nice, the interview was going well, etc. And then she told me that she would like to go to the second interview with the manager. And in my head, I was like, oh, the manager of the HR department, because, of course, there are other people in this department, not only this lady that I just had the interview with. We scheduled the interview, and this was before the pandemic times. I had to go to the headquarters of the company and take the interviews there. We go there, and in the minute where I step into the building, the HR lady calls me and says that the person that should interview me can't take the interview at this time. And I told her, lady, I'm literally in the building. I'm here. I lost a lot of time arriving here and preparing myself and so on. Anyway, I was brushing it off, and then we rescheduled the interview. I go for the second time. I meet with the interviewer, which was the big manager, and then he proceeded to lead me in a storage room. I mean, I think it was like a meeting room, but there were a lot of tables, one on top of the other. There were no chairs, and it literally looked as a storage room where people just put their tables and other stuff that they don't use in the office there. And we were standing. He didn't find me a chair or something like that. We were just standing there watching each other. And he started asking me a lot of weird questions, such as, can you guess if I am married or not? What is the university that you think I finished? What do you think is the domain in which I took my bachelor's? Do you think I have kids or not? These were the questions that this guy asked me. And of course, I was really confused. I had 20, 21 years old. I didn't know how to answer to this. So I was guessing if he's married, if he has kids or how many kids. The interview was scheduled for 1 hour and we finished in 20 minutes. And this guy literally says, okay, yeah, you know where the door is, right? And then he leaves the meeting room, aka storage room of the office. And then I'm standing there in the middle of the office, basically. I don't know where the door is. I don't know what to do. And I'm literally calling the lady from the HR department and I'm telling her, hi, I'm in the middle of the office and I don't know where the exit is. Can you please come and find me? Of course, I didn't get the job. And to be sincere with you, I'm glad that I didn't. Because if you treat the candidate in this way, you just ask the candidate random question just to fill in the time without actually assessing the skills that you need for that specific job. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's a no from my side. In the second story, I applied for a bookseller job. So yeah, I wasn't a librarian. I was just a girl who's selling books in a store. This was the job. And I applied for the role. I got a call for the HR lady. We scheduled an interview. I get to the headquarters. Oh, and here I want to mention the fact that she didn't even give me the address. I had to look online what the headquarters are of that company. And I'm going there. The guard doesn't want to let me in because apparently he wasn't told that it's going to be a recruitment process and that another person, an outside person will come into the building. So yeah, that was another fiasco. Finally, I get into the building, I meet with the HR lady and she tells me to go into this room where are another 15 persons. And she tells me that we need to take a test. A test about what? I didn't know because she didn't tell me in the initial call that, hi, so before taking an interview, you'll need to have a test. And if you receive a good result of that test, you'll have the interviews, etc., etc. So yeah, I was there. I was handed a piece of paper where I had to write the answer to the test questions. There was this whiteboard and they were writing in hand the questions for the test. And the questions were about different books and authors, who was the author of that specific book, or give me 3 examples of books and authors that wrote a book after 2007, stuff like that. if you have told me that there will be a test, I would have prepared for it. And of course, I wrote there just things that I knew from my experience and books that I've read before. And surprise, surprise, I passed the test. After the test, I went home, of course. The HR lady calls me and says like, oh, so you passed the test. Come and have an interview with the CEO and other interviewers. And I was like, yeah, when will you like to have it? Today, like in 1 hour. In 1 hour? I mean, I left the building. I'm at home. It will take me 1 hour to go to the building. I negotiate her the hours. I was like, okay, I'll be there in 3 hours. Just wait for me. I'll be there, whatever. I'm going there. So I had to wait because there was another person that was interviewed at that time. The scheduling and the punctuality for this company was a big question mark. Finally, I go there and I have like 6 or 7 interviewers. So it was the CEO of the company, then the one that was asking questions, and another 5-6 persons. And I'm not really sure why they were there. I mean, I think they were just bored, and that's why they got to the interviewing panel, because for me it's silly. I mean, I was applying for a bookseller job. I mean, it wasn't a director job, it wasn't a manager job, it was like an entry-level position that everyone can do without even having a high school diploma. I mean, seriously. Anyway, I get there and the CEO, the one that was asking the questions, he literally starts laughing at me because I didn't know the name of some authors in that stupid test. I was mad about the situation before entering in the interviewing room. So all of these questions and these jokes that, haha, you don't know the author of that book, it made me mad even more. And I literally start arguing with this person during the interview process because I was like, fuck this job, I hate it, I just want to get through this interview and never hear about these people again. And because I was a psychology major at that time, I started telling them theories about how a person stores their information, about the memory, how the memory works, of course, based on the studies and the book that I've read until that time from university. And I'm not quite sure what happened there because they were kind of impressed. I mean, I was literally arguing with them and telling them that they are not right and that knowing all of this name of the authors is literally useless for a person in life. I mean, you can Google the name of this book or how many books this author wrote after 2007 and you can find this answer on Google in like a few seconds. This was basically my argument. And after the interview, the HR lady calls me and says like, yeah, you passed the interview, come for the final round. At this moment, all of this for me was just a joke. And I went to the final interview just to amuse myself, I guess, because I knew that I don't want to work with this company. They were so unorganized and I don't know, the interview stages were off for me. And of course, I'm going to the final round, which was only with the CEO. And he proceeds to tell me that, I'm smart. He thinks that he can trust me. And I mean, trust me with what? Selling books? I mean, it's such an easy task. And I'm not quite sure why he was so serious about it. But anyway, and he proceeds to tell me that if I'm going to take this job and accept it, he wants me to work for at least 1 year before me quitting. So I was like, no, we are living in a state where you basically can quit whenever you want, because these are the laws in our country. After hearing this, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not interested in this. I mean, you can force me to sign a contract where I have to stay for at least 1 year in this specific job. I mean, if I don't like it or if something bad happened or if I'm abused in any way at work, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to stay there just because I signed a contract to stay there for 1 year. And the last experience that I wanted to share was the call center fiasco. I wanted to get this job in call center because I needed money. I think that I was in my second year of university. And of course, I just wanted a side job to make some money and pay my lifestyle while being at university. I go to the headquarters of the company. This is a very big company. It's known at a global scale and it's a leader in their domain. So I'm not quite sure what happened there and why the people were so unprofessional. I arrived there. The lady from the reception hands me this visitor badge. And she just left me there in the office for 10 to 15 minutes, something like that. I went and grabbed a coffee from their coffee machine, drink some water, and I was literally there wandering by myself in the office. And if you think that this is not weird, this is very weird because you can't get strangers in your office building. They might be spies from other companies. They can like steal your secrets or secret business, etc., etc. So that's why it's not a good idea to leave a stranger unattended in the middle of the office. After 10-15 minutes, after I drink my coffee, drink some water, etc., a person comes after me, asks me why I'm there. And I'm telling them that I'm here for an interview, and another person comes. They are like leading me to this meeting room where are 3 interviewers and 2 other persons. The 2 other persons were like other candidates that were applying for the same position as me. So we basically had a group interview, I guess, and we were asked the same questions. And of course, we were stealing each other's answers. I mean, I know that it was a question, why do I want to work for the company? And of course, in my head, I was like, I really don't want to work here. I just want a job that any person without experience can do to earn some money. This was literally what I had in head. I had no information about the company. And a guy, another candidate that was answering this question before me, they said that he would like to work in an international environment, and he believes that working with people from other countries can enrich his experience. And of course, I steal his answer, and I answered the same thing. I mean, what's wrong with you? I mean, how can you do this? You really don't have the time to interview 3 people like separately. The next weird thing was that one of the interviewers just left in the middle of the interview without saying anything, without saying goodbye, anything. And another interviewer that was his colleague proceeds to telling us that the interviewer that left was in fact a manager, and she believed that none of us, the candidates that were there, were a good fit for her team. So she didn't want to waste her time staying with us in the interview anymore. How can you say this? I mean, the interview went for another 10 minutes. I mean, I think you could have stayed like 10 minutes and not being rude, leaving in the middle of the interview, and then your colleague proceeds to tell us that you think that we are useless and not a good fit for your team. Oh my God. Anyway, the nail in the coffin, let's say, was where one of the interviewers asked us what will be some things that we couldn't accept in a company or in a job. And I was the first one to answer. I told them that I don't want to be abused in any way. So yeah, I don't want to face abuse at work. And they got really defensive, like really, really defensive. And they started asking me all of these questions. How do you define abuse? What type of abuses do you know? Yeah, because they got really defensive for this question. This was, let's say, my intuition or some red flags. Because they called me a few days later, they told me that I got the job, and I refused just based on their reaction when I told them that I don't accept abuse in a workplace. When I finished university and I was looking for a job, I found a job description for a post in HR in that company. And I was looking at that company on Glassdoor because I got a little bit wiser, and the reviews that I saw there were awful. So basically all of the type of the abuse that I said in their interview, the candidates that worked there faced them. It was really great for me that I picked that red flag and didn't accept the job in that call center company. So yeah, guys, these are my 3 awkward experiences that I had. I have like my worst interviewing experience that made me cry for hours because I was feeling awful about interviewing and having all of the interactions with that specific company. I'm not going to tell that here, but if you are interested, just let me know in the comments below. And I can do a separate video about it because it's quite long and it will take me a long time to tell it. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to hear more content like this. Like this video if you of course like it, comment down below and maybe let me know some of your awkward or bad interview experiences. And don't forget to check my videos about red flags that you can spot during an interview process about a company. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!